Libra, this is Lauren from Etheric Tide. We are back for a Tarotscope for July 2020. This is your general reading. Retrograde. Now, I know in the spiritual community, retrograde is considered a little bit like, something went wrong. Mercury retrograde did it. Must be because Mercury's in retrograde and, oh my goodness. I'll get back to this. So, retrograde is great. Like, look, I really want to, change people's perspective on the retrograde. Although my words will be jumbled and my emails may not send correctly and I will have miscommunications all over the place, it is a great way to clear out the stuff that you don't want or don't need anymore, and it's just, it's fantastic for reevaluation. Now, the reason I'm having a little giggle at this is because this has already come out for some of the signs in this exact same position. I think it might have been Gemini. So you might be involved with a Gemini, but don't have to be. So, and again, it's about money. So, across the board, all the signs, so much of this retrograde for July is going to be bringing up stuff about money and abundance. And you are no different. So this one is balancing your coin. And at the moment, it's not in balance. So I think what's coming up for you, Libra, is how am I viewing money that's coming in and how am I making my money? And is the way that I'm making money working for me? I think that a lot of you are probably even thinking about what other ways can I be making money? And does it necessarily need to be in a job that's 9 to 5? And I do know that Libras are kind of they do definitely like to do their own thing. They are pretty, they kind of like to break the mold when it comes to a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of Libran entrepreneurs and a lot of Libran millionaires or billionaires, as in CEOs of their own companies, etc. So I think there's something about the Libran spirit that is able to figure out a way to make money in a not so normal fashion through ideas and creation and creativity. And that's a pretty cool thing to have, I must say. So I think for a lot of you Librans, you're probably having a look at, this is just this is like an entrepreneur card for me. I mean, it has lots of meanings, but especially when we're talking about money, and especially since we're talking about being an entrepreneur, it's definitely referring to that. I think a lot of you are re-looking at how you can make your money, and there might even be a few of you that are getting them entrepreneur vibes, and something that maybe you had as an interest, you're wanting to turn into an actual full-time money-making thing. And I think for you guys that a lot of that's going to be to do with, this is communication, this is usually to do with social media, different ways of communicating with people. So I think that you guys are going to figure out a way to use either social media or an online platform in order to make money. And makes sense in the current climate that we're going to be depending more on online avenues for businesses, or I think that this is a time that is going to give birth to a lot of interesting ways in which to create content or money, and new concepts of business through online, if that makes sense for a few of you. So if it's not online, it's still going to be very entrepreneurial, very beat of your own drum, you know? Like, I don't think that you're going to conform to the way that other people have run their businesses. I think that you are going to rewrite the rules, you know? What else we got? This one. Yeah, okay. So it's in the reverse. So usually when the Tower comes up, it burns away all of the things that are no longer working for you, and it reveals whatever's left, and whatever's left is the things that are foundational. Because this is in the reverse, it's doing the reverse. So all of the things that you would originally think were not steady, you're going to use as a way to create the foundation. I'll say that again. All of the things in your life that everybody probably said, or you had the thought that weren't very steady, you're going to use that to your advantage, and you're going to turn it into the foundation of your business. So take that how it resonates. It's kind of like turning your weakness into your strength. That's what it is. Turning your trauma, turning your healing, turning your history and your failures into, yeah, that's what it is. It's turning what people would tell you are your weakness, are your failures, into something beautiful, into something amazing. It's almost kind of like, I'll show you weak, you know? It's kind of like that little bit, like a bit of a vindictive streak, but it's kind of like you make it work. It's kind of like, I've got a few people in my life that are Librans, and what I love about them is kind of like they just figured out how to make it work. Like they just be them, and they're amazing, and the things that somebody else couldn't pull off, they just do. You know, it's kind of pretty amazing. Alright, now you've got one more card here, and then I'm going to grab an oracle card. Because I feel like, yeah. Alright, Eight of Cups. Now the Eight of Cups is when we walk away from things that that we care about. And I'm not going to take this in exactly the same way as what it normally is, as in like this, well, it's kind of like it's not working for you, so why stay around? Why not move on to other things that are going to be like more emotionally fulfilling for you? I don't see this as being as sad. Like normally this is kind of like, oh, it's usually like walking away from like a bad relationship or something along those lines, where it's like, oh, this is no more emotionally fulfilling for me, so I'm going to have to break up with you. It doesn't quite feel that way. It's more like, this isn't emotionally fulfilling anymore, and I recognize that, and it's okay. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go do this because this is going to be more emotionally fulfilling. It's not It doesn't have such a painfulness about it. All right, let's go. As in, like, this was good for a time and it worked for me for a time, but I realize it's not working for me anymore, so I'm going to move on. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Alright. Trust your own understanding. Trust that if you feel it's time to move on, then you're probably right. If you feel like it's not working for you anymore, you're right. If you think that going in this direction and doing it this way and making money in this way and having to invest your time, energy, resources into this, then you're right. Just trust that instinct that if you feel as though you're being drawn in a certain direction, then trust that that's the way that you're supposed to be going. So that's actually a pretty great reading. It started off a little bit, it seemed like it was starting off a little bit funny, but it went in such a good place. I like this reading. Alright guys, if you would like a personal reading, details are down below. Just go to www.etherictide.com. Like, comment, and subscribe. Love your comments, guys, and any good karma donations are greatly appreciated. Thanks so much. Hope you guys have a good July. Bye!